I've just disconnected the car battery to be safe, but the reason we're doing this today is because I've got this replacement nib, and you can see how this is a 67,000 mile car from 2018. This button has worn out, so I've disconnected the car battery. I'm going to take the airbag out. There's a couple of holes underneath I'll show you in a second. Disconnect the negative terminal. So I've got 10mm. Should go on there nicely. Okay, so I've just got a 5mm Allen wrench, and there's a couple of holes here. I'm just going to stick it in there and hope it pops it out on one side. Okay, so it doesn't quite click out, so just keep pulling and then pull on the airbag itself, and it should pop out. So go back in. Right, there we go. Just going to do the same on the other side. Don't feel too much pressure, but when you pull it, it's quite loose, so just be careful. And there is a cable connected behind. Now we will make sure we don't want to stretch that, because that is the charge cable, so I'm hoping I can just push this back in and try and get to the cables underneath. So I was just going to show you it is relatively easy to disconnect the airbag. So there's a little clip on the top there, so if you just take this Allen wrench and squeeze down on that top part, obviously the battery is disconnected, and then it just popped out. So we're just going to place this to the side, and we're going to try and get to that screw there. Okay, so I've just got T20 Torx bit. I'm just going to undo this screw right here. Hopefully left paddle shifter should come loose. I can see it already coming loose now. That's good. So if you want to replace your paddles, I'm guessing this is the bolt you need. Alright, so if you've got paddle shifters, it's way more annoying. So there's a screw there, if you can just see that. So that's a T15 Torx bit that you need to undo. Now release the button group. So there you go. So that's in. If I just hold it there, can you see that? So there's a T15 Torx bit. Okay, so some people tell you that you need to remove this middle trim piece. You don't need to do that. So you don't need to undo any of these screws. You don't need to undo the screw on the bottom. You can wiggle it out sideways. Obviously, just be careful of the lever on your steering wheel that you don't scuff it. I don't think I did that. Okay, so if you want to undo that, you can stick a screwdriver in there and undo it. I'm just going to use a PH1 to undo these 4 screws. Okay, so now we've got it off. When you pull this off, there might be 2 white plastic bits, so make sure you don't drop those. These 2 little bits in the middle and this one on the side. Then what you need to do next is remove this grey piece on the inside. So there's a couple of clips. Oh, see how that's come out. Make sure you don't forget which side these 2 go in, because they're slightly different heights. Also, all of this lubrication, if you do wipe it off, you're going to have to reapply it, otherwise the buttons do become a bit stickier. But as you see for the silver, the chrome piece, it's just these clips here, so I'm just going to undo those. Okay, so before you start, these are an absolute pain in the butt. So you've got these 2 holes here that you need to find something to clip into. Obviously it's really annoying if you've got your car disconnected, battery disconnected, but luckily I had this in my car, which can be used as a pry. You really need to push it in there, but obviously be careful of breaking these little clips. So you push it out, so you can see there's a little plastic nub here. You want to push it this way to unclip these. I recommend doing these back 2 first and then these front 2. Okay, and for the next step as well, you're going to want this really small pry tool, because there's 2 little nubbins in here. Now if I show you the replacement piece, so you got these bits, so you don't want to break those 2 little clips on the old piece. If you want to keep it, I didn't mind too much, so I just kind of stuck it in there and snapped those off by accident. But you really want to pull it out of this hole. There's 2 little stubs on the side, so you want to try and get that pry tool just on the top here and push this way to pull it out. Now what I found was helpful was having pressure with my fingernail on the other side, so that's how I was pushing this side out. I was pulling down on that side, and then it eventually popped through. And there is an orientation in which you put it back, so if you can have a look, you see the line is slightly closer to the middle, and it's the same on here. So the line is slightly closer to the left-hand side, so you want to put it back in the same way. Put this little bit of Vaseline into that part, just so it's not sticky. Okay, so when pushing it back in, you want to make sure you're doing the reverse. So if I can find my old piece, so you can see where I completely smashed this one up. So both the sides are broken, but that's the condition of it anyway, so don't really care too much. But these little holes you want to get in on both sides with your new one, and also make sure the center line is correctly aligned with the line in the middle. So that orientation and not the other way around. Okay, so I've just put those bits back in hand tight, and you can test the clickiness if you want to put more lubricant on each of them, but these feel good. You can also test the pin. Cool. That feels much better. It's much tighter though, so I would probably put more lubricant, but I think that's fine. There we go.